jump, it was always fuck cops in the bureau. Mix of Casper, Harold Hunter, and De Niro. Now I'm with my kids and we watching Olaf, and I'm like, damn, I used to want to be like old dog. Tuck the deuce under the goose boost, and y'all, couple screws loose, cashier turns poof, I'm gone. 7, I heard NWA in the street from my older neighbor who was playing fuck the police. 11, writing graffiti. 15, I'm selling weed. By 16, I had an...
We're going to start here in a couple of minutes. Just getting some stuff done here. Welcome to the Hijack. We're chilling right now. We're going to be talking about some stuff.
Are you aware your hair is way too thin? But in my mind, I was junior high, iceberg slim. Feeling fine, getting high, spending time with the bitch, taking Heineken sips. This is
Macklemore's new one, man. It's so good.
People living in the band, on 3rd and James by the fountain where they panhandle, running from the cops, pulling scandals. Those were my heroes. Pick up the mic, put your money where your mouth is. Doing petty crimes back in the days. Too much OE, gypsy off the whiskey. Pick up the mic, the mic, put your money where your mouth is. Doing petty crimes back in the days. My clique is too great. Back in the days at the Boulevard on Broadway, before the downtown turned to a big All Saints, I was rolling around with a 40-ounce of malt drink, posted up in front of the 7-Eleven all day. My heroes didn't look like yours. My heroes didn't look like yours. Nah, they didn't work a 9 to 5, they worked a 5 to 4. Woke up at 3 and recording more. See, my heroes died of overdoses, riding for the culture, mind tied to psychosis. All the lies of showbiz. My heroes shot dope and inhale, blowing their noses. Got locked up, got out and did some more shit. I got that devil in me and a bunch of Henny with me, and we fuck up any city, heavy hitting any inning. Steal the pancakes off your plate and then I'm robbing you at Denny's. And the Plymouth that is tinted and the Sherman's got me spinning. You don't want it with this, put the truck in his rich. We don't fight fair, fuck that, we jump and get our licks. Reds and white splash through the dash, hop the fence, wake up, smoke a blunt, hit the park and do it again for my hero. Pick up the mic, put your money where your mouth is. Doing petty crimes back in the days. Too much OE, gypsy off the whiskey.
The N.FM. I am DJ Zwane. This is the Hijack. A lot of stuff going on. How's it going? It's been a minute. Doing these very sporadically and with no real promotion. Just kind of doing it whenever I have time. And so because of that, let me turn this off. I should probably. There you go. So because of that, I just kind of pile all of the stories that I want to talk about and come up and talk about them. So that's what I did last time. So you probably heard about the Bono thing that happened a few weeks ago. You heard about all the other stuff. Now we have a new batch of stories to talk about. So the one that I wanted to start with today is the FAA system outage. And this is why. Next week, I'm going to Boston. I'm DJing there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it. And I'm looking at this right here, and it's kind of crazy. What the hell happened to that? Oh, yeah, that's weird. We'll get that fixed here in a second. So basically, what's happening is that the FAA back in early January, this came out on the 11th of January. The FAA system outage caused thousands of flight delays. So these flight delays happened specifically because the outage or the system that they use for basically tracking planes and making sure that you're flying at the time you're supposed to be flying is archaic. It's archaic to the point that It's like something. It's something out of like the 80s, literally the 80s. We're talking DOS and that kind of thing. I mean, it's probably not. There's going to be some asshole. Like, oh no, it wasn't. They used Windows 95 or whatever. But ultimately, what it boils down to is that you have a system that is so archaic that you have a system outage that can take thousands of flights out of commission. So let's see here. The airline industry slowly resumed. This is out of CNN. The airline industry slowly resumed service after Federal Aviation Administration system outage caused thousands of flight delays and cancellations across the U.S. on Wednesday. Obviously, this was earlier this month. The FAA briefly halted domestic flight departures across the U.S. Wednesday morning. And the ground stop, lifting the ground stop around 9 a.m. Now, here's the other thing. This happened with, like, across the board, right? So these people across the board, the FAA, like, grounded all these flights. And most airlines kind of took care of their stuff. They took care of their stuff, and they made it so that you know they could go back to flying. They could go back to doing what they were supposed to be doing, right? Well, guess what? One airline and one airline only has been singled out for being so awful in this whole entire thing that they were they were reprimanded and all kinds of stuff. This is what I'm going to do. I have a technical difficulty that this is why I record it. So I record it and then I edit this out because and you're kind of part of the show, maybe a little bit. So, but you are going to get to hang out and listen to music while I fix this thing. And yeah, so I'll be back in like, I don't know, a couple minutes. All right. Listen to Tiesto right now. Listen to Tiesto. He's good. Tiesto's good. I like Tiesto.
Dropping it, shake my ass, I'm stopping it. I look hot in it, hot in it. I look hot in it. Rocking it, dropping it, shake my ass, I'm stopping it. I look hot in it, hot in it. I look hot in it. Rocking it, dropping it, shake my ass, I'm stopping it. I look hot in it, hot in it. I look hot in it. Tonight I'm gonna be rocking it, dropping it, shake my ass, I'm stopping it. I look hot in it, hot in it. I look hot in it. Tonight I'm gonna be rocking it, dropping it, shake my ass, I'm stopping it. I look hot in it, hot in it. I look hot in it. Moving till my feet get sore, hands all on me till my dress gets torn. Watch me do it real hardcore. My. You and me, we never ever made much sense. I'm too independent, no offense. Boy, don't be sad about the things I said. Don't cry. Tonight I'm gonna be rocking it, dropping it, shake my ass, I'm stopping it. I look hot in it, hot in it. I look hot in it.
Hey, look at that. I got it to work. So, this was the story that we just talked about, right? And this is obviously calling out, this is the FAA screwing up, right? So, ultimately, these people ended up grounding thousands of flights. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, the last airline standing, can you guess who it is? Can you guess? I bet you can guess. It's Southwest. Of course it's freaking Southwest. So, Southwest, they're reeling back from the meltdown. This is out of Insider. Southwest, still reeling from last week's meltdown, just suffered another system glitch that grounded flights. Let's see here. Yeah. Southwest Airlines was on Tuesday hit by a weather system outage, which grounded flights and caused the disruption again for passengers. Several people posted on Twitter about their flight delays, saying that a pilot announced the weather system was down and the plane was unable to take off. One person tweeted that They were sitting in an aircraft for an hour and a half waiting to depart because of the issue, and Southwest apologized for the response. Don't apologize. Give me my money back. Like, look, I understand that there are acts of God that happen. I understand that there are times when they can't do shit about it, right? I get it. What I don't get is the set of balls that Brandon said Spirit. No, it was not Spirit. You get a consolation prize. We'll do a shot of JMO or something. I don't know. So no, it was Southwest, and Southwest is known for this kind of for this kind of, like, well, not this kind of delay, but delays of all kinds, overbooking, and that's across all airlines. But Southwest is the cheap one. Like, that's the one that asks you for money, gas money at the end. When you're getting on the plane. So I think that this is Southwest is the epitome of all of travel. I love traveling. I'm sorry, I should take that back. I like going places. That's a better way to put it. Susie says you had me at cops banging cops. Oh, we'll get to it. So Southwest is a representation of where I would say most of America goes for their airline. I think that most of America uses something like a Southwest or a Frontier, one of these just like tubes that they just throw up in the air that's barely functional. Thankfully, I'm going JetBlue to Boston, which is going to be much better than a Southwest flight. And I'm getting there 4 days before my gig. So that's exactly right, Susie. I am a bigger fan of the destination. I'm a bigger fan of the of getting there. It's the trip there. I think the trip there should be a good trip. It should be a nice trip. It should be something that we can it should be something that you can look forward to. I should look forward to getting on a plane. I remember back in the day when my parents would take me out to in the 80s, I think, in the early 90s, where you would get dressed up to go on the plane. Man, I go with a pillow. Actually, I don't go with a pillow. I'm lying. I go with headphones, blindfold, and like flip-flops and maybe basketball shorts or something. So, like, at the end of the day, man, it boils down to and this is where all my right-leaning friends are going to be like, oh, screw you, free market. At this point, this is when my right-leaning friends are like, oh, let the free market decide. Well, the free market is giving us this. The free market is making it so that I have to. I want to go to Boston a few days early to hang out. But I also do it for precautionary measures. Because what if the plane is delayed a day or 2 days? What's up, Rachel? I think that we have to. Oh, hey, Rebecca, how you doing? And everybody else, whoever's on the Twitters or the Facebook. Anyway, the point is that Southwest obviously is the winner chicken dinner of the worst flights that I've ever taken. Anyway, and Southwest in particular was singled out because of this whole FAA thing. And guess who's in charge of that shit? Pete Buttigieg. Yes, John says that he remembers when we dressed up and named no dress-up item. No, I don't know what that part is. Named no dress-up items? I don't know. Oh, hey, what up, Cody? Shout out, Cody. And, so I'm glad that I'm going JetBlue. But, this right here doesn't fill me with warm fuzzies about flying. So I'm looking forward to getting there, and I'm looking forward to getting back. So that's that is such a bad time, man. Bad time. Speaking of bad times is not what these people were accused of. They were accused of having a lot of good times, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Tennessee cops. Including a married female officer fired after repeated wild sex romps. Who wrote this? It's a New York Post. Wild sex romps? Do you have a 1950s British guy writing your articles right now? Romps. Anyway, a small Tennessee police station has been rocked by allegations of wild sexual misconduct after a married female officer had steamy romps, seriously, romps, with 6 female officers, including illicit on-duty liaisons, according to reports. Officer Megan Hall and her fellow law officers allegedly engaged in wild sexcapades. Jesus Christ, man. Who is writing this stuff? Sexcapades got me. That included sending dirty pictures, taking their top off at a Girls Gone Wild hot tub party. Did this happen in the 1990s? Girls Gone... Is that still a thing? Are they still doing, like, those fucking videos? Really? Like, anybody not heard of Pornhub? Jesus Christ. Anyway, the steamy shenanigans in which Hall allegedly bragged about the size of one partner's genitals and claimed to be in an open marriage not only led Hall to be canned, but led the firings of Sergeant Lewis Powell and some other cops. Let's see here. 2 other officers who allegedly had romps with Hall, seriously with the romps, Patrick Magliocco and Larry Holliday, kept their jobs but wound up suspended, according to the report. So they got a vacation. Jesus, how old are these cops? Oh, it's true. Like, these guys are... Bulldog is the guy that I want... What? That you call Pete Bulldog? I don't know who Pete Bulldog is, but this sounds like there's a Pete Bulldog in this crew. But either way, you know, I'm okay with them doing this. Whatever. I don't care. They could have... Look, as long as they're not shooting unarmed black people and white people, I mean, but really mostly black people. Like, as long as they're not shooting people, they can have as much sex as they can. Look, man, get an OnlyFans. I know y'all don't get paid a lot. Oh, yes, from the last segment. Yes, Pete Buttigieg is the answer to who is in charge of the FAA screw-up and all things transportation. Yes, that is Mr. Pete Buttigieg, the robot that they threw at the Democratic Party that eventually flopped. Indiana mayor or something like that. Wasn't he a mayor in Indiana somewhere? Yeah. Fire them all, and the cops should have gotten a vacation. I can tell you that firing them all is, I mean, that's usually my answer to that, is firing them all. But yeah, this is pretty crazy. So officers began to look into the swinging personal lives of the amorous officers when I want to know who ratted. When Laverne Mayor Jason Cole received a tip that Hall was sleeping with several fellow cops and had a threesome with Magliocco and his wife, among other claims. Good Lord. When they asked about the tip, Magliocco admitted to having sex with Hall on numerous occasions, the report said. So this is this Magliocco? Yeah, Magliocco is, and then Megan Hall is the chick on the, obviously the officer that's been, you know what? The officer that has been, like, kind of being thrown under the bus, and look, I feel I'm defending a cop, but this chick is getting thrown under the bus, and these dudes are not getting any sort of, like, social repercussions for what they did. Like, how is that even fair? I mean, it's not, and it's par for the course. It's on brand. I get it, but it's just like, yeah. So this guy, this is Detective Seneca Shields, who was also dismissed in connection with the investigation. This guy, Jesus fuck, this guy's like, yeah, Sergeant Lewis Powell, fired after admitting to having a sexual encounter with Hall on the clock. Jesus Christ. Man. Okay. After initially denying, of course. Deny first. Fucking scumbags. After initially denying having sexual relationships with Powell and Magliocco, Hall later copped to the affairs and also admitted to having sex with Lugo at a motel after they met at a go-kart center. That's a place to pick up chicks. A go-kart center. Jesus Christ. Yeah, cops gone wild, Rebecca. That's right. That is exactly right. Yeah. Man, that poor lady. I mean, not that poor lady. Look, the biggest egregion that they make is being cops, in my opinion. Like, but you know me. You know me. Not a big fan. And it's not that I don't want any cops. I want them to be more trained and less of them. That's what we need. More training, less of them. That's how we fix that. And maybe, just tear it down and build it back up because it was started by it was started as a slave catcher operation. So maybe do that. Maybe take that out. But yeah, so in my opinion, the biggest egregion that these guys made were becoming cops because you know what? At least they're not killing black people. That's my take on that. Let's see. John says, I would not care if they were off duty, but under taxpayer dollars has got to be dealt with. The guys, they all deserve the smoke, but the smoke is being unevenly distributed. It's a misdistribution. We need a redistribution of smoke for these guys because they were kind of scumbags. In their own right. Everybody in that story is a scumbag. But the fact that she got the brunt of it is not only on brand, but it's also sad. So yeah, that's that. Now, one person that has hit the seemingly overnight has hit the news sphere is this frigging guy. Representative George Santos. This is the latest in his ridiculous story. Let's see. It says Representative George Santos says he will recuse himself from committee assignments and ethics issues. Santos was assigned seats on the House Small Business and Science Committees. Let me see if can we get some sound on that? Let me see. Let's see what's happening here. Hold on.
Congressman George Santos says he will recuse himself from his committees. With us now, Jake Sherman, founder of Punchbowl News and an MSNBC political contributor. Jake, good morning. So what more are you learning about this?
Well, this comes after, Jose, a meeting yesterday with Speaker Kevin McCarthy, George Santos and Kevin McCarthy, where we're told that McCarthy encouraged him stepping off these committees. Now, remember, if Santos is indicted, which we have no idea whether he will be, but if he is indicted, he needs to step off those committees. But he has taken the preemptive step. The only question is politically, Jose, why did they go? Why not do this a week ago or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or a month ago? I don't quite understand why they thought, the Republican leadership thought this was a good idea to allow this narrative to go on for all this time and essentially boot him off the committees anyway, but that's above my pay grade. But Mr. Santos will not be sitting on his committees, the Small Business Committee and the Science, Space, and Technology Committee. And to be honest with you, these are two relatively minor committees on Capitol Hill. This won't have an impact in legislating or governing in any respect, but it does signal that Santos is becoming more of an outcast in the House Republican Conference.
I mean, duh. Like, this is one of those things that, like, I can't believe that it took this long for these people to see this guy, and it was all because this is the only reason that this happened is that, like, he just looks the part. He looks boring as hell. I think it was maybe it was Jon Stewart who said that he's mediocre. He's mediocre. He was also at the sex romp. And he founded the NAACP. He did. He did all of those things and then some. We owe a lot to old George Santos or Katana Kavash or something like that. Brianna Kavash. Isn't that her his drag name? That he was not a drag queen, but he did drag in college in Brazil. Well, now this guy. I mean, like the story is just if you have not heard of George Santos, just look up George Santos and just you would think that this is written. You would think that this is like a movie where somebody like this guy was broke like a year ago or so. But somehow ended up with 700. Oh, Katana Javash or some shit. He somehow, in some way, he ended up getting $700,000 into his campaign. It turns out the people that were donating to his campaign, not real people. They didn't exist. They didn't even exist. Not and in some cases, the address was correct. Like there was a real address, but those people had never heard of George Santos or Anthony, I don't know, Galloway or some shit. He has several different names. There has to be a movie. Yes, John. There has to be a movie that comes out. Who would play that guy? Who could play George Santos? Let's think about that. Who could play George Santos? It's got to be it's got to be a Latin guy. It can't be a white guy. I mean, Hollywood's made brown people white all the time, so maybe they can. Wait, is that true? He pretended to be McCarthy to campaign? I can't tell if you're being serious or joking. That's how... Oh, Jack Black? Jack Black could do a Santos. But, of course, a white guy. But I get it. It's fine. There are limited people that have that kind of thing. Anyway, one person that we know will not be playing Santos is this guy right here, Mr. Alec Baldwin. He's expected to be charged with manslaughter today. Today? Is that today? Or is it in a week? Let's see. Published. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I guess it's Tuesday, so I guess today. Santa Fe. Prosecutors plan to file felony charges of involuntary manslaughter Tuesday in the fatal shooting of cinematographer by actor Alec Baldwin during rehearsal for the set of a Western movie in 2021. Cinematographer Halyana Hutchins died shortly after being wounded at a film set ranch in the outskirts of Santa Fe, New Mexico in October 21 of 2021. Baldwin was pointing a pistol at Hutchins when it went off, killing her and wounding the film's director. That's rough, man. And Alec Baldwin is one of those guys that's kind of like, beloved, right? I thought he was like a beloved Baldwin. A beloved Baldwin. I like that alliteration. In recent weeks, Santa Fe District Attorney, this is out of KGW 8, the Santa Fe District Attorney, Mary Carmack Outwise, has outlined 2 sets of involuntary manslaughter charges in connections with the shooting against Baldwin, and film set weapons supervisor Hannah Gutierrez Reed. The district attorney said that a spokeswoman Monday. So yeah, this is I don't know. I think that Baldwin. I don't know what the protocol is. I don't know what the protocol is in Hollywood for weapons. I don't know. That's the guy from What We Do in the Shadows. Yes, the guy from What We Do in the Shadows could do whatchamacallit. He could do George Santos. I bet. Yeah, that's true. That's a good one. But yeah, man, sucks to be Alec Baldwin, and I don't know. I guess he's a nice guy, and I hope that he gets what he needs to get. I guess I don't have that. I don't have that emotional tie to Alec Baldwin. Like, if it was somebody, I'm trying to think of somebody that could get into some kind of trouble like that I would be like, oh no, like that sucks. I'm sure there's a bunch of celebrities, but Alec Baldwin is not one of them, unfortunately. So yeah, now this one is, so this next story is still going on, and it is the story of Tyre Nichols. And Tyre Nichols, if you have not heard, is the latest in the cops shooting people, cops shooting unarmed black people extravaganza that they seem to never want to stop. So this one was so egregious. This was so bad that the chief of police came out going, "Listen, guys, this is a bad one. This is the worst one I've seen." They took them it was a week of PR, before they actually released the thing. It's insane to me that, like, it's insane to me that this is how we're dealing with another shooting. And there's all kinds of stories now about the chief of police because, of course. But in case you didn't hear, Tyre Nichols died 3 days after a traffic stop down the street from his house, hundreds of feet from his house. The guy screamed for his mother. It's infuriating to me that we look at all of this shit that happens and we don't go, "Oh, how do we fix it?" We start making excuses for it. And it's bad. It's bad when 5 police officers are charged with murder immediately. Immediately. Do you have any idea how bad of a fuck up you have to have? Do you have any idea how bad of a fuck up you have to make for police officers to just go, "You know what? We're going to cut our losses. This was on us. This was us. Like, there was no way that they could, like, thin blue line any of this. Like, there is a thing called a blue shield, like the blue shield or whatever they call it, where they just, like, they cover for each other, man. It's a gang. It sounds like a gang because it is. Like, yeah, immediately they had the complexion for correction. I like those little rhymes. So there were 5 police officers that were indicted. 5 of them. These 5 police officers were indicted immediately. And so these were the 5. These were the 5 officers. These were the 5 officers that were taken out immediately. And the first thing that I hear, hello, Lucy from England. The first thing that I hear is, well, why aren't people marching in the streets? What do you mean, why aren't people marching in the streets? They are marching in the streets, in some streets. It's not the level of marching that you saw with something like George Floyd. But remember that they sacrificed these guys. They sacrificed these guys for... They were the sacrificial animals for this particular homicide. If you haven't seen the video, it is one of the worst things I've ever seen cops do. The level of beating that this guy got hundreds of feet from his house, a grown-ass man was asking for his mother. That's the level of aggression. Like, we're talking about a grown-ass man. And you know what? That's apparently a common thing. When you're getting murdered, that you ask for your mother. Because you hear that a lot. So these are the 5 guys that were arrested immediately. There was one other guy that took a little bit of time. To pick him up. I'm not sure what the I don't know what the police officer, what the reason was. Why it took them a little bit. Let me see if we can find something about this. There's got to be a reason why this police officer didn't get taken in immediately, right? There has to be. You can't tell me that in a group of 10 or 12 officers that they only took 5. I don't get it. Let's find out. Let's find out together. Let's see if we could find the reason why. Let's find out. Let's see. How about that? There's a reason why a 6th police officer was just charged now and not immediately. Okay. Let me see. Let's find out. All right. Let's see. 6th police officer. Let's find out. Why do you think... I'm trying to think. Why do you think that the 6th police officer didn't get picked right away? I'm trying to figure it out. If you guys can let me know. Because, So the other guys looked a little bit different, I think. Would you agree? Yeah, because he's a white guy. That's what it is. Got it. Okay, he's the white guy. So the black guys they got immediately reprimanded. Oh, but wait, there's more. One of those 5. Yes, Lucy, exactly, because he's white. One of the 5 officers apparently is dating Tyre's ex. And as if that wasn't enough, this asshole, after beating this guy, where he died 3 days later, so technically, beat him to death, he sent a cell phone picture to the girlfriend of the beating that he just gave Tyre Nichols. I feel like I'm describing a gang. And I think it's because I'm describing a gang. Like, I've told this story before. I've gotten stopped on my way home. I lived in Lake Mary at the time, a little nicer part of Lake Mary. And it was like a Tuesday night after DJing, I think it was Friendly Confines, one of the Friendly Confines establishments. And I was I was stopped by a cop who asked me if I had guns, knives, or explosives. Yes, explosives. Right before I go, really, dude, explosives? And he's like, oh, I'm required to ask you that. I'm like, really? Since when? Like, when did that happen? Like, when did that rule come down? And who and what triggers that? Is it everybody? Is it just people with like a year-round tan? People with like a little bit of a 9/11-y last name? Like, what are we talking here? And he just, it was like normal protocol for him. So, and that's me, like, speaking the way that I speak. I speak like a white guy. Let's be real. I speak like a white guy. Yeah, no, I will not. Lucy says that I should have said, I have a few grenades in my boot. No, I should have not. It must be nice to be a white girl, Lucy. Because if I did that, it is over for me. It is over for me. So I will not do that. I already get randomly selected when I'm dropping off my friends at the airport. So I don't need that kind of smoke. This is the kind of smoke I need. So these 6 police officers, now there's a 7th Memphis officer disciplined, EMTs fired in Nichols' death. And here's the other thing. There was a firefighter. There were firefighters there and other people who didn't do anything. 2 more Memphis police officers have been disciplined and 3 emergency responders fired in connection with the death of Tyre Nichols, officials said Monday, widening the circle of punishment for the shocking display of police brutality after the video showed many more people failed to help him beyond the 5 officers that accused of beating him to death. They should all be charged with it. All of them. Every single one of them. And I typically I'm a fan of the firefighters. Firefighters are cool. I like firefighters. They're lifesavers. They risk their life. They go into burning buildings to save people. I think those guys are cool. But these guys can go to hell. This is ridiculous, man. So yeah, that's the level of like aggression that has to happen for the police to be like, okay, we're gonna just fire a bunch of people. That's what something like this, a 10 camera angle beating, Rodney King style beating, but from like 10 different angles. That's what it takes. Lucy says, all the way from England, she's advocating for the death penalty. I would not advocate for the death penalty, not because I don't think that these guys deserve it, because they absolutely do, but because I don't want to give the government that much power. That's a problem to me. If they have the ability to take which here in the States they do, because we're like 500 years behind as we, except for in everything except for technology. In technology, we're only like 30 years behind. But ultimately, and we used to be the leading technological, one of the leading technological advancements. I mean, we still are, but not nearly where we were. So anyway, but she's advocating for the death penalty, and I just don't have that in me. I don't want anybody to die at the hands of the government. I think that's awful. But you know what? All that to say, a lot of shit's been happening since I did the show last, and I felt like I needed to look at this and get it off my chest, because Jesus Christ, what kind of freaking nightmare scenario are we living here? So, by the way, one of the last things I need to talk about is the new joint. The new joint down the street over at West End, where I DJ on Saturdays. You should come and check me out. I'm probably going to swap days this week, and I'm not going to be there next week, but after that, I'm back, baby. So make sure and check me out at West End Trading Company. If you are a homie of mine in Boston, then come on out. And we can have a party. We can hang out. We can, here's the thing. when it comes to going to Boston, I'm trying to make that a yearly thing. I'm talking to the people up there to see if we could do a once a year Boston Spanglish party for the homies over at Arthur Murray. So I think that we'll be able to make that happen. It's looking promising. So from what I hear, the tickets have been flying, which is great. And yeah, so hopefully, if you are a friend of mine in Boston, holler at your boy. I'm gonna be there, and let's see, yeah. Oh shoot, yeah. Oh, sorry. See, this is what you get. You get the live, and you get all of the kinks that well, not like that's a different thing. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. My name's DJ Zwain. This is the Hijack, and I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna talk to you next time. Go download the old shows. The N.FM. Bye.